So glad you guys have joined us today. I'm the Executive Vice President of EntreLeadership, and our team is so excited. We're so thrilled that so many of you guys have tuned in today because our desire at EntreLeadership is to help business owners win. We believe in business. We believe in small business, especially. We know that you guys are the backbone of our economy, and we're cheering for you. We believe in you. We believe that what you're doing every day really matters. And so I'm so excited that you guys are here today for this webinar where we're going to identify things that may be holding your business back and what you can do about it. We want you guys on this webinar today to have a breakthrough. I want you to think about why you signed up today. Why are you here right now? What prompted you to say, I'm going to check this out? Because I know, like me, if you're anything like me, we check out a lot of things. We cruise and we surf and we go, oh, I'm going to jump in on that and give it a shot. Well, what was it for you? What's your why on why you're here today? What is it about your business or your leadership that you're maybe feeling a little bit stuck or you want to take to the next level? What I want to do for you today is give you so much value that you're going to have a breakthrough in that area so that you can find that next gear and take your business and your leadership and your team and the impact that you make to a whole new level. Sound good? All right. Well, guys, before we jump into our lesson today, I'd love for you to interact with me a little bit. Let me know that you're out there. And I want you to go to the chat feature, and I want you just to put in your name, where you're located, and what your business is. Let's interact a little bit. I don't want to just talk at you. And we also need to test this out because later in our workshop, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework, and I need you to reply back to me. I'm going to read some of your answers. And at the very end of our time today, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A. So let's go ahead and get those fingers moving in the chat. Tell me where you're from and give us a little bit of a shout out. Sally from Charlotte. We got Jay tuning in from Florida. Hi, Jay. We got Holly in California. Hi, Holly. Regina and Matt tuning in together from Las Vegas. Jeremy from Lubbock, my hometown, Lubbock, Texas. As they say, Lubbock is happiness. Happiness is Lubbock in your rearview mirror. Somebody wrote that a while back, and to a degree it's true. But it's a good place to be from. Timothy in Indianapolis. Felicia from Des Moines. We've got Beverly in Texas. They're coming through fast. David in Nashville, right here up the road from us in Middle Tennessee. Ashley in Pittsburgh. We got Janie in Arizona. A lot of you guys, man. Fantastic. Well, I know there was thousands of people that registered for this webinar today, and I'm assuming you guys are all out there. And hopefully this is all going to be something that's going to add a tremendous amount of value to you and your business. So now that we got that out of the way, buckle up. We got a lot to cover today. And if you have any questions all throughout our webinar today, just share them in the chat. I won't be able to answer all of them in real time, but again, go ahead and note it in real time when you're thinking it, and our incredible production team will curate those questions and they'll push them to my iPad so that I have a list of questions to get through before we get off today. I'll do everything in my power to answer your question. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a hard look at your business. You can't get better if you don't know what's broken, right? Now, I know you're not egotistical, and I know you're not too prideful to admit that some things in your business could use a little bit of work. But it's important noting that there are people out there who don't want to acknowledge that things are broken. So let's just agree that we're friends and this is a safe space. We're going to talk about the fact that there's some things that are broken because that's our first step to working on the problem. And in fact, in business, we always have problems. We never bat 1,000. There's too much going on for everything to be perfect all the time, right? We always have a mess to clean up. That's our job as leaders, is to come in and lean in to the things that are broken. And maybe you already know what you're doing really well in, and maybe you're trying to figure out what you need to be doing better in. Maybe there's some things that you've been avoiding a little bit. Well, last week, I just finished up a 3-part workshop where I covered the 6 drivers of a business. And I know so many of you guys joined me on that series, and I've already heard so much great feedback and people messaging us saying what they're doing with that information, how they're starting to apply things into their business based on what we talked about. And man, what an incredible workshop series it was. So thank you guys for those of you that went through that, and thank you for coming back today. And if you're new today and you're just joining us and you're going, what are you talking about? What are the 6 drivers? Well, I'm going to hit them real quick and give you the treetops. We're not going to deep dive on all of them because we got some more stuff to jump into. But if you want to go back and do the deep dive, just check on the link down in the notes and the YouTube link. Our team will put a link in there for you to go back and watch all of last week's workshops. You definitely want to do that if you didn't have time to make it last week. But what are these 6 drivers? 6 drivers of business. Well, they're the core areas that every business owner needs to develop in order to drive growth in their business. See, a lot of businesses, they start out just on this treadmill of survival. And as the business owner, you're doing everything. You're the chief everything officer. You're making it happen. You're making the sales and you're making the product and you're doing the administrative tasks and the accounting and all of it. It rides on you as the founder. To get this thing off the ground, that's what it takes. But we also know that if you stay on that treadmill as a business owner, eventually you just implode. You can't stay on I don't care if you're an ultra marathoner. At some point, everyone has their max. At some point, we can only stay on this treadmill before we just collapse. And guys, whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you believe in, your future, about why you started a business and the difference that you want to make and how you want to scale this thing and reach more customers and help more people, whatever all that is, whatever you want your lifestyle to look like as a business owner, we know that the first step to achieving all that is scaling the business and getting off of that treadmill. What I want for you is for you to build a peak performing business. And at EntreLeadership, we've helped thousands of business owners achieve peak performing success over the years. And what we do know is that happens when you focus on the 6 drivers we're going to talk about today. Okay? So when you don't focus on these things, well, your business gets stuck. Your team doesn't scale. You feel overwhelmed. You're unsure of what you need to do to make things better. And so here's the thing. If that's you, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you're with us on this journey because you don't have to stay on that treadmill where you don't feel like you have any traction. You deserve to be a peak performing business, and that is a place where you're working on the business and not just in it. You've got options, you've got a team, you've got systems and processes in place, your customers are happy, and you're getting to run this thing instead of be down in it all the time in the weeds, okay? Does that sound good? That is our destination. That's where we're going. But like we said, you got to make time to work on the business and not just in it. And I want to congratulate you because whether you realize it or not, that's what you're doing right now. What do you mean? How am I doing that right now? What I mean is that when you clear your calendar and you show up for a webinar that's going to teach you how to be a better leader, how to build a better business, when you take time to feed your mind intellectually and apply new things that you're learning back into your business, that's working on the business. You're working above it. You're growing muscles as a leader that are going to help you be stronger and perform better. But being on this webinar right now isn't necessarily causing a new sale to come in, not directly, but indirectly, the dividends it's going to pay thousands of times over in many new sales and many new customers. That's what we're talking about when we say work on the business, not in it. So today we're going to zoom out. We're going to get a clearer picture of your business. And it's important that you download the printout. Okay, so we've got a worksheet that I need you to actually download and print off if you can, or if you can't print this, at least download it and make sure you're following along, because this is going to be the key to you having the right action items in front of you when you close out the window today and we're done with this webinar. You want to have this as your marching orders going forward so that you get traction. So click the link in the show notes below and download that. It's free. It's a PDF. You got to use it to go along with us here today. Highly, highly recommend that you do that. So check that out. Also, as promised, we have an awesome printout of a gift that we told you guys we would give you. For those of you last week who tuned in, I said our incredible design team has put together a poster with the graphic of all 6 drivers and a little bit of an EntreLeadership swagger, attitude poster kind of feel that you can print out. And I've got one here in front of me. This is an 8.5 by 11 size, but you can blow it up and put it on your wall. You can print this out and hand it to your team. Guys, this is a compass. This is something, it's an artifact you want to keep in front of you. You don't want to just leave it in your computer screen or your inbox. You don't want to just have it be in a drawer somewhere where you don't see it. You want this visual in front of you. So as a leader, we got to be looking at this stuff all the time. I have this blown up in my office, big poster, because I'm always looking at what's the area we need to be working on right now. So that gift is yours for free. Be sure to download that and print it out for your team as well. So here we go, the 6 drivers. Guys, if these areas are bleeding, then your business is going to suffer big time. But if you consistently make the time to invest in them, it's going to transform everything. All right, so here we go. So get your worksheet, Get it out. Let's get started. So here is the starting line. Here's where we're going to start. In order to get where you're going to go, well, you got to figure out where you are. You can't reach your destination if you don't know where you are. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is take a hard look at our business and do an assessment. Okay, we're going to go through this really quick, but we're going to do an assessment on each of the 6 drivers, and you're going to self-assess how you're doing in your business. And then after that, we're going to get to my favorite part, and that is our strategic planning model. We're going to take your assessment, figure out what you need to work on, and then we're going to put together a strategic plan together. We're going to work on this together for your business to start improving on the area that needs the most TLC. Got it? Here's how this goes. Also, I should let you guys know, there's a more robust assessment that'll tell you your strongest and weakest drivers down in the video description. That'll ask you a lot more questions and get a lot more robust answers back to you from our coaching team on a guided path towards your success through all of our content, so that you're working on the right things at the right time. But today we're going to keep it high level and kind of breeze through this, and that's good enough to give us a lot of good insights. Okay, so let's just recap on the drivers. First of all, personal leadership. We believe that you're the problem and you're also the solution. John Maxwell says, leadership ability is the lid that determines a person's level of effectiveness. Okay, the law of the lid is what John Maxwell calls this. And it means that anything in our leadership where we have a deficit becomes the lid on our business. As a leader, the areas in my area that I lead that aren't doing well, I got to look at me first and go, am I the lid? Am I the blocker on the reason that area is not performing? See, your business is never going to go beyond you and your skills as a leader. It's never going to grow beyond our leadership capacity. You've got to invest in yourself today to be the leader that your business needs tomorrow. That's what we mean when we say personal leadership, when we talk about this driver of personal leadership. So, are you being intentional about your growth? What are you doing about it? What are you doing to grow those muscles as a leader every day? So on your worksheet, right down there in front of you, it says personal leadership, and I want you to rate yourself. 1 is, I'm not prioritizing my personal growth like I should. And 5 is, I prioritize it. I've got the plan and the habits that help me become a better leader. I'm working on it all the time. I'm getting coaching. I'm getting feedback from my team. I'm a part of a group that's helping me grow and develop as a leader. I'm doing everything possible. I'm reading the books. I'm plugged in. That would be a 5, okay? I'm not sure I'm even a 5, so be really realistic here. Don't be egotistical about how you grade yourself. Be honest, be humble. So give yourself a grade right now. Where are you at, scale of 1 to 5, in your leadership growth? And I want you to know that even if it's a 1, it's okay. Okay, it's all right. I mean, this is for you. So be honest. Don't try to impress anybody with your score. Be real about it so you can work on the right stuff. All right, so that's personal. Next up, purpose. Purpose is what sets the foundation for the future of your business. You know, we believe in EntreLeadership that your purpose should exist to make an impact that's bigger than just the bottom line. Now, I know starting out, it's all about, can we just create a profit? Can we get this thing going? That's our purpose, pay the bills. But at some point, once the bills are paid, you got to go, what's the difference we're trying to make here? What do we really want to do with our business? How do we want to make an impact in our community with our customers, with our team, and with their families? I remember, if you don't have a destination, you can't have a direction. And so purpose is about knowing our destination. Why do we exist? And a lot of times leaders can have ideas about what they stand for, what they care about, but they don't ever stop and pause and put it on paper. They don't come back to it. But guys, purpose is essential to getting your team to move in the same direction. It helps you to know what to do next. It aligns the team. It also helps you with your out of bounds markers, and your purpose and mission statement say, this is what we don't do. These are distractions. It's your compass. It gives you and your team a reason to show up every day, even on the hard days. It gives you energy. So I want you to assess yourself on purpose. Is your purpose clear? Same drill, scale of 1 to 5. 1 is, hey, the mission, the values, the purpose, none of that stuff's clearly defined. It's foggy. I have some intentions around it. And then 5 is every team member knows what our mission, our values, our purpose is all about. They can connect their work to living on that mission and the vision of the organization. They can recite back to you the mission statement. That's a 5. Everybody in the organization. And it's not just that it's hung on your wall where everybody can see it. I'm talking about when your team embodies it. You know what that looks like. They're fired up about it and all their energy is pushing towards it all the time. If that's where you're at, give yourself a 5. If it doesn't exist, give yourself a 1 or somewhere in between. So give yourself a grade real quick on that. All right, guys, we're doing this assessment again because we want to have a baseline on all these areas, and you should be doing this on a consistent basis. And as your business grows, sometimes these numbers will slide up and down based on the evolving landscape of our business, okay? So it's great to check in on this stuff. All right, so speaking of giving your team a purpose, let's move to the next driver, and that is people, your team. At EntreLeadership, we believe that building a unified team is the key to winning in business. Guys, you can only do so much on your own. But here's the thing. Your culture is either created or it's tolerated. Our job as leaders is to create an incredible culture where people are celebrated, where we've hired the right people who are champions, and we've gotten rid of the people that don't align with our mission, and we're making sure that everybody understands what winning looks like, and we're empowering them with the right training so that they can do their job well, and we're casting the vision so that they know where we're going. And as we talked about last week, we're rooting out the enemies of unity like gossip and backstabbing and sanctioning incompetence. And so when you do all this stuff really, really well, you can delegate more to your team. You can advance decision-making to the front lines. You as a leader are spending most of your time working on what only you can work on and not what other people should be doing. Hello, that's why we have a team. And you know what? They're getting to do what they're good at. That's why we have a team. But as a leader, we got to create one. They don't just happen because we hire people. In fact, you just hire people, you're going to have some enemies unless you create this culture that's very intentional about this. All right, so I want you to rate yourself on this one. Scale of 1 to 5. 1 being our culture with the team. We're talking about team culture, right? Unity. It's mostly something I tolerate. We've got backstabbing, we've got gossip, people don't get along, there's infighting, people are frustrated. I've got people that I've hired, but I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth because they're just kind of like, oh God, it's Monday, and oh, thank God, it's Friday. Let me get out of here. Our people don't want to be here is what that's code for. If it's like that, well, that's a 1. That's bad news bears. 5 would be my team and I are actively guarding the culture. We've got champions on our team. We've got leaders in place. The vision is set. People are excited and moving towards that all the time. I feel confident I can delegate things to people and they're going to get it done really well, sometimes even better than if I was doing it myself. Our team is aligned. We trust each other. We have the right amount of healthy conflict where we're pushing each other forward, but it's not personal. It's about fighting for the mission and fighting for excellence and fighting for our customers. That's a 5. All right, give yourself a grade. Flying through this. Next, on to plan. The next driver at EntreLeadership. Here's what we think about planning. Winning is an intentional act, and it doesn't happen by accident. No one ever won the Super Bowl, and then afterwards got off the field, and the journalist comes up to them and sticks a camera in their face and go, how did you do this? No one ever says, well, I don't know. We're just walking around, throwing the football around, and lo and behold, we won the Super Bowl. No, man, they had a plan. You want to win the Super Bowl in your business? You've got to be intentional. You got to make it happen. It's not going to happen on accident. All right, we're going to cover this a little bit more in our strategic planning model after this evaluation. But right now, if you don't feel like you know what to do next in your business, I want you to hear it's okay, it's why you're here, but also let's take stock of your business anyway. Are you clear about where you want your business to be? Do you have an action-oriented plan that's going to get you there? Okay? Does your team know what the plan is? Okay? I want you to give yourself a rating right now on this driver, this idea of a plan. Okay, so 1 is there's no plan. We don't know where we're going. Things aren't in writing. We don't spend time communicating with the team about the plan. I'm not leading my business with a clearly defined plan. Okay, that would be a 1. 5 would be we've got a plan. We know what it is. We built it together with our team. Our team's aligned on it. It's on paper. It's on purpose. My team executes against the plan. And the blueprint for our success is clear, and we're using that blueprint to build our business. That would be a 5. So again, you know the drill at this point. Give yourself a grade 1 through 5, and then let's move on to product. What is product? Well, here's what we mean when we say product in EntreLeadership. We believe that delivering excellence is the key to winning with your product or service. You deliver excellence and the product and the service, and then the profits are going to take care of themselves. Profits are a byproduct of being excellent and how we serve our customers. And you know your business much better than I do. You know, if you're a dentist, I'm not going to teach you how to be a better dentist. If you're a plumber, you're the expert on plumbing, okay? If you're a photographer, I got an iPhone, that's all I got. I don't know how to take pictures. It's got that feature on there, but you're the photographer, okay? I'm not going to teach you how to be better at your craft. If you're an accountant, you know the tax code, that's your thing. What I'm talking about is you have to deliver all that stuff in a way that makes your customers go, wow, these people are remarkable. They're amazing. Nobody does this. They get me, they're kind, they return my call, they followed up. I want to give them, they're asking for a 5-star rating on Yelp, and I want to give them 6 stars, and that doesn't even exist. That's how good it was. Is that what your customers are saying right now? I hope they are, at least some of them. But what would it take to get all of them to feel that way about your product? So when we focus on the level of excellence in our business, on how we deliver our product or service, that's what we're talking about. Because like we always say around here, if you help enough people, you don't have to worry about money. That's how it works. So, how well would you say that you're serving your customers? Again, scale of 1 to 5. 1's awful, 5 is amazing. 1 is like, my team and I, we don't know anything about how our customers are doing. Yeah, stuff's going out the door and occasionally checks are coming in and we get paid, but we're actually not asking our customers how good a job we're doing. Or we're getting a lot of complaints all the time and we're not sure why. We're not actively taking inventory and there's not a plan to make sure that we deliver our product or service with excellence. That's sucky. That's like when we're not doing a good job at all. That's a 1, okay? Number 5, my team and I, we know the needs and wants of our customers. We know their expectations, and we've got a process in place to constantly collect feedback and make changes to delight our customers. It's a regular thing for us to get fan mail. It's a regular thing for people to call in and say, hey, when Johnny was out at my house the other day installing the equipment, oh my gosh, that guy's amazing. You better hold on to that guy. Not only did he install the equipment, but I noticed he was leaving and headed back out to his truck and there's some trash in the yard. It wasn't even his trash. He picked it up and threw it in. Who does that? Who does that? Johnny does that. Hopefully you've got a lot of Johnnies working for you who get that it's all about making your customers not just satisfied, but delighted. That would be a level 5. Okay? That's product. Now the last one, profit. Let's check in on profit and take inventory. First, what do we believe about profit? Well, we believe that the profits should fuel your purpose. Profits fuel your purpose, guys. So, in case you're feeling bad about making more profit, or you're confused about whether you should be making more profit or being aggressive to grow your profits all day, every day, I want to give you permission to make a lot of profit. Because if your purpose is helping people and your profits are the fuel for your purpose, the more profits mean more purpose, means more people helped, which is a good thing, okay? That's why we believe in capitalism. That's why we believe in the free market enterprise. That's why we love men and women just like you who are small business owners and going, we want you to win, because winning isn't just about you feeling better about your life. In a business setting, your life gets better. More profits advance the purpose, which means your team gets helped. You get to hire more people. You get to provide more jobs. The money that you pay those people in those jobs provides for those families. And that money, when they save and they invest, that pays for colleges for those kids. Like, generations are changed because of what you're doing. We believe in that. Your team is better because of you making more profit and more customers. Maybe today it's dozens. Well, it better be hundreds at some point, and that better be thousands. And hopefully you're on your way to maybe even millions of customers served because you decided to show up and make more profit. That's what it's about. So we think that the more money you make, the more opportunity that you'll have to reinvest in your business and help more people. We think that's a cool thing. And money, well, money tells the story of what you care about. So, you tell me, is reinvesting in your business top of mind for you? I want you to assess yourself right here, scale of 1 to 5. How are you doing with profit? 1 would be, I'm not making enough profit to reinvest in the business. We have very low profit. I can't even pay myself. This is more of a hobby right now. Profit is, sketchy. It's hit or miss, or we're not tracking things. We don't even know if we're profitable. All that would describe a level 1 rating on profit. And then 5 is we're making a profit. We have a budget. We're checking the numbers. Our profit margins are really strong. It's predictable. It's each month it's getting a little bit better, and we have enough left over to invest in the future of our business to expand the vision. Okay, so if that's where you're at or something close to that, that'd be a level 5. And, you could be a 3 or 4, anywhere in between. So at this point, I hope you're getting a sense of what you need to work on. We've gone through and we've rated ourselves on all 6 drivers. Hopefully you got a score right there, scale of 1 to 5. Are you getting a sense of what you need to work on? Look at those scores and you tell me, where are you at? What's the one that you need to be looking at? Which driver do you think needs the most attention right now? Write it down on your worksheet, and I want you to share it in the chat. What's the top driver that you want to work on and focus on? The one that, if you really get intentional about it, it's going to have a massive impact on the rest of your business. My friend Gary Keller talks about this idea of the one thing. What's the single domino that if you push down this domino, all these other dominoes are going to fall? Okay, so this isn't necessarily which one are you rated the lowest at. You got to figure out for you and your business what's the most important right now that you got to work on. Go into the gym and growing these muscles on this particular driver. Drop those into the chat and let me know which one. Stephanie says that she wants to work on people. Nathan also wants to work on people. John says the plan. Richard in Texas is saying profit. Hi, Richard. Dan says people. Brittany says purpose, people, purpose, plan, purpose, product. Love it. Okay, so we all have something that we need to focus on right now. I'm going to look at mine real quick. I'm looking at my cheat sheet over here for the drivers, and I'm going to say for me, it is product. Doing a lot of product work right now and mapping out a lot of things with our content team. I'm excited about that work, but it's probably the area that I need to be leaning into the most right now as a leader. Okay, so there's always going to be something. This isn't like you check a box and then you never come back to it. Forever going forward, the rest of your business, you're going to have one of these things. And really, all 6 of them matter all the time, but I want you to be in this habit of every day looking at the one that you need to work on that day. And it's going to make you a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to have to pull out the dirty laundry and go, oh, we're going to have to clean this stuff, all right? But that's part of being an adult. It's part of being a leader. And it's a part of getting off that treadmill. That's how we ultimately are going to win. So I want you to take that driver that you've chatted with me about, the one you want to focus on, the one that you highlighted right now and said, this is the one I want to think about the most and focus on in this season. And I want us to build a strategic plan to getting traction in that area. So here's the thing. If you want to see your purpose fully realized, well, you have to have a winning plan. We talked about this in the driver called plan. Winning's an intentional act. It doesn't happen on accident, okay? So let's look at a really simple strategic planning model that you can get clear on about what you need to do. Now, this model I'm about to teach you guys, you can use it anywhere, at any time. You can use it really high level, figuring out the whole strategy of your whole business. You can use it with team members and goal setting, but we're going to use it right now to figure out how do you get traction on that particular area you just identified, okay? So there's 4 components to a strategic plan. Here's what they are. Here's the 4 steps. It's really this simple. You guys, I don't know if you've heard of strategic planning before and it sounds complicated or stuffy or too academic and you're going, hey, I'm a Main Street entrepreneur. I'm just down here getting stuff done. We're selling stuff. We're shipping. We're kicking down doors. What do you mean strategic plan? This is all it is, okay? It just means you're focused on these 4 things. First one, current reality. What's your current reality? Where are you at today, really? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, we just did that. I just had you do an exercise to figure out your current reality. Scale of 1 to 5 on each of these areas we care about. I got one that's not a 5 yet, so my current reality is I've got growth to do to get this from a 3 to a 4 and then 4 to a 5. That's my current reality. I'm not at a 5 yet. Second, what's my desired future state? Where do I want to be? Where do I want to be in this area? What does a 5 really look like for me? Not what are the EntreLeadership descriptions in this area. How do I define my own success? Am I there yet? What are my dreams and aspirations about my future? It's all about desire. Your desire is personal, but you have a desire. You've got a fire in your belly. You've got something that you want? What do you want? That's your desired future. And then the third component of a strategic plan is, well, you look at the distance between your current reality and your desired future, and there's a gap. So what's in the gap? The gap is the distance between where we are today and where we want to be. The gap is, here's all the reasons that I haven't currently achieved my desired future. It takes time, it takes resources, it takes work, it takes accomplishing some goals, it takes building a team, okay? There's all different reasons in business that there's a gap, but there's a gap. And then the fourth component is the plan. It's the bridge that we build to close the gap from where we are today and where we want to be. Okay, so I want you to look at these questions on your worksheet. I want you to think about that one driver that you said needs the most attention, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on these questions, taking that driver and building out your strategic plan. You ready? All right, here we go. So what's your current reality in this driver? So if I was going to say for me, I said product, okay? Current reality is we've got incredible live events. We've got an incredible coaching program. We've got some incredible online resources. And our current reality is there are a lot of things going really, really well. But we just did an offsite with our leadership team and we said, okay, let's look at our product. There's a little bit of confusion about a few things and the way that they're arranged. There's a little bit of messaging that needs some work so that we get even more clear about these 6 drivers and how leaders can walk through them. And we started mapping out our current reality. You guys have been familiar with the exercise of a SWOT analysis. What are our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats? That's a great model to figure out your current reality. We also like to use one around here that we call the 4 helpfuls. And we ask the team, what's right, what's wrong, what's missing, or what's confused. These are all just ways of taking inventory on our current reality. We just did another way, scale of 1 to 5. How are we doing on this particular area? Okay, so for me, it's product, and I'm going to say that scale of 1 to 5, I'm a 3 out of 5 for EntreLeadership and where we want to be. Now, again, this isn't that it's bad. It's just relative to where you want to be. Well, it's a 3 out of 5. We have really high aspirations for where we're going with this thing. And so we're not there yet. Desired future, what does 5 look like? For me, with our product, well, we painted a picture with our leadership team where we have millions of business owners interacting with our product on a daily basis, where we're helping 10 times the number of business owners that we're currently, and we're taking them deeper, and we're actually tracking their transformational journey in a whole new way, and we're watching how they're getting traction with digital and, making these metrics come alive for business owners and bringing more stories and humor and different things in our content that's going to make it that much more engaging. And so I could take a minute and really map, okay, in our desired future state for product, for this area, this is what it looks like. This is what I see, okay? And don't judge it. Don't go, I don't know if we can get there or not. Just put out there, this is what I see. This is where we want to go, okay? So make these notes. What's your current reality right now and the area that you want to focus on? You told me the area you want to focus on. What's your current reality and what's your desired future? I want you to take a minute and write down your ideas about this. I want you to interact with that. I want you to get that list in front of you. Okay, and once you do that, it's going to set up this gap. You're going to have a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Okay, I want you to look at some of the most common things that we see that keep business owners from closing the gap. There's a lot of things that can be in the gap. Not connecting your desired future to your purpose. Goals that aren't working. They're not specific, they're not measurable, there's not a time limit, they're not yours, they're not in writing, not defining quick wins, how we're gonna get traction, okay? There's not enough time to get it done, or there's too much time. A time limit maybe is not aggressive enough. People are sitting around and they're not doing the work. There's not enough money, or we don't have the right team members. We're gonna have to hire some people to close this gap, or maybe the gap is it's in the soft skills or the culture of the team. You've got an unhealthy culture and that's keeping the work from getting done. Maybe you hadn't done enough research. Maybe you haven't collected enough data to know how to make the right decisions to get you to move forward in your desired future. There's some homework to do. Maybe it's poor communication. Maybe the team's confused. Maybe there's a lack of accountability. Maybe everybody knows what they should do, but they're not doing it. Nobody's holding them accountable. That could be in the gap. Maybe there's a lack of buy-in from the team. Maybe the buy-in's not there because you got the wrong team members. Or maybe you got the right team members, but they're not so sure that the vision is really where we're supposed to be going. Maybe they're not sold yet that the desired future for the business is a journey that they want to go on. not able to delegate responsibility. If you don't have the kind of team you can hand things to and they're going to take it and run with that ball and drive it across the end zone. Also, not celebrating the wins, losing momentum, grinding to a halt where the team gets frustrated and the morale is down because something negative happens and the leader doesn't show up and boost them up and tell them, hey, it's okay, we're going to get through this together. When you're thinking about your strategic plan, your present reality, where you're at today, across the canyon, imagine standing on the rim of a canyon. You're standing on this side of the canyon. Across the canyon on the other rim is your desired future. And between you and your desired future is this big canyon. There's something in the way between where we are right here and where we want to be. And you can't go down in the canyon, okay? It's too steep. And there's dragons down there. There's fireballs and there's, wizards that jump out from behind rocks and tackle you. I don't know. There's stuff in the canyon. You can't cross the canyon. So what's going to have to happen is we got to build a bridge over the canyon, okay? We got to build a bridge from where we are today to where we want to be so we can cross safely. And that's what our plan is when we build this bridge. So we're going to get to that in a second, but right now, I want you to take 2 minutes. I want you to figure out for you, based on your desired future, on the driver you want to work on, and based on your current reality, what's that gap look like? What's standing in your way? What's keeping you from achieving your desired future tomorrow? What's keeping it from making it automatic right now? We're going to take a workshop, give you a little time to work on this, and then I'll check back in with you. Ready, go. Welcome back, guys. I hope that you've got a few things sitting in front of you now, some notes that you made about where you really want to be, your desired future, where you're at today, and then what's in the way. Those are the three things that we've got to keep top of mind all the time. Where do I want to be? Where am I at now? And what's in the way? I mean, that's really the whole leadership equation. That's really what we're doing. Where do I want to be with this team member? Well, they're not performing the right way. Okay, what does good performance look like? I want them to be like this, and today they're like this. What's in the way? Well, I probably hadn't sat down and trained them, or maybe I hadn't sat down and checked in with them to make sure they know what winning looks like. Where do I want to be with my profit? Well, I want to be at a 20% profit margin. Today, I'm at 10%. What's in the way? What's keeping me from being at 20%? Well, we're not being consistent in our pricing. Our cost of goods are variable, and we're not doing a good job of inventory tracking. And if we get that stuff dialed in, we can close that gap between 10% profit margin and 20% profit margin. You apply this model everywhere, and you do it automatically without thinking about it. I just want you going forward to think about it, all right? So the next step is to figure out how we're going to close the gap. How are we going to build that bridge that goes across the canyon? What's that bridge look like? Well, here's the key. We've got to create some momentum. At EntreLeadership, we have the momentum theorem, and Dave Ramsey, our founder, came up with this, and I love it. And the idea is that focused intensity over time, multiplied by God's power. We got to realize that we're not Superman. We need some help from above. You do all that stuff, and it results in momentum. Focused intensity over time, multiplied by God, equals unstoppable momentum. That's how it works. And guys, you know this, but the lack of focus is the greatest threat to growing and scaling your business. And I'm guilty of this. I get distracted. I get excited. I jump out of bed in the morning and I jump in the shower and more ideas pop in my head. And instead of doing what I said I would do yesterday, I start chasing the new ideas. And they're not all bad. They're not necessarily wrong, but they take me off focus. And as entrepreneurs, people wired like you and me, we're just idea people. We get excited and we get a little ADD and hey, squirrel, and we chase the squirrel. And then we abandon the thing that was going to do what we said we got to do to get us where we need to go. And the reason that we build a plan, well, it's to hold us accountable, to staying with it, to building momentum. So to create momentum, you've got to define your supporting objectives and what are going to be your quick wins. Okay, so this is how we take action on your ideas. We're going to put all this stuff on paper. Okay, so imagine you're building the bridge across the canyon, but you're doing it on paper. Okay, so what are your supporting objectives? These are the pillars that hold up the bridge. These are the things that are the big projects that have to get done to get us to accomplish our desired future state. Supporting objectives are the targets that you must hit for your desired future to occur. Map those out. Now, this should only be 5 to 7 big things. If you're getting more granular than that, it's going to be hard to delegate these items to team members. It's going to be hard to actually tackle them. These are 5 to 7 things over the next quarter that if you'll really focus on them, you're going to build that bridge across the canyon. You're going to achieve your desired future state. And then once you have your supporting objectives, well, you got to figure out how to get some quick wins, how to get some traction. Okay, so you're going to convert these objectives, these big projects, into goals. That's what quick wins are. Quick wins are goals that you can achieve in a short timeline, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, so in your worksheet, fill that out. Quick wins are goals you can achieve in a short timeline, just 1 to 2 weeks. And then you're going to reset the goals against that objective. You're going to continue to march against your defining objectives over the period of a quarter. And then about every quarter, you need to zoom out with your team and reset your strategic plan. You're going to check in and go, okay, where are we at now? What's our current reality now? Hopefully we made some progress. What's our desired future now? It's probably going to be tweaked a little bit. And you're going to rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And this is going to happen over and over and over. And that's how we get traction towards our desired future. So, there's an interesting thing that happens. Something behaviorally and neurologically happens when we create some momentum. We've seen this with really successful things like, our own journey here at Dave Ramsey's company, the financial baby steps, right? A lot of people go from being buried in debt to becoming financially independent because they created momentum. They thought about their desired future, they broke it into goals, they got traction. The same's true for your business. It's really important for you to establish some of these quick wins towards your desired future so that you can gain momentum. All right, so we're going to do another workshop. On your worksheet, there's a couple questions, and I want you guys to think about what's your plan to close your gap. What are you going to do? What are some low-lift efforts that you can make that are going to get you to actually build that bridge? And remember, your plan consists of the objectives. These are the big rocks. 5 to 7 things that must be true to get to our desired future state. And then you may not have time in this workshop, but later you'll come down and put in specific goals and things that you can either do yourself or you can delegate to somebody. And then I want you each week checking in on these things and making sure that you're moving the ball down the field. So I'm going to take 2 minutes. We'll give you some time to work on that, and then I'll check back in with you and we'll move on from there. All right, ready? Go. All right, guys, welcome back. So hopefully you've got all the elements of your strategic plan in front of you. You've got your desired future, you've got your current reality, you got the gap and what's in the way, and then you've got a little bit of a sense of the plan, the objectives. Now, I want you to break this down. This is all about taking action. Okay, also I want you to leverage your team. You don't have to own everything. Okay, your team needs to come with you around the plan, and you guys need to look at this stuff together. You guys need to figure out who's going to own what actions. And I don't want you guys to ever leave one of these strategic planning meetings with your team without everybody agreeing on who is going to do what by when. That's how execution happens. Assign these goals, get commitments from the team that you can hold them accountable to. Now, you're not being mean about it, and they need to buy in and agree that they can get it done by that timeline. You can't give these people quotas and say, come on, do it. My timeline. I mean, you guys have to have a conversation about this, but work with your team to build the plan. Delegate responsibility to the degree that you trust your team members' integrity and ability. Okay, so I've made this mistake before where I delegated something and I thought, okay, I got to get this off my plate. I'm going to hand it to somebody else. And then I walk away and I start working on my stuff. I come back in a couple weeks and they hadn't done anything with it. And I'm going, what's your problem? Well, the problem wasn't them. The problem was I overcommitted them based on their ability. I wasn't looking at their competency. So it's key that when we're delegating these objectives, especially if it's a big part of our strategic plan, guys, most of these things are above and beyond people's day jobs, okay? These are strategic. So they got their operational day job. You gotta have leaders, or even if they're not formal leaders, you gotta have people that are gonna go, hey, give me that ball in addition to my day job. I'm gonna make sure we come together and pull it off. And you do that when they're competent, and they'll do that when they're excited about the vision of where you guys are going together based on your desired future. Okay, so here's the deal, and I want you guys to really dial in on this. Your plan is only as good as your follow through, all right? Please don't do all this work to build a strategic plan and then jump off this webinar and go right back into business as usual and look up in 3 weeks and go, what was that webinar I was on? We built a plan. Where did that plan go? Okay, please, guys, all the value is in the execution. The fortune is in the follow-up. And every component of the plan has to have a clear objective. An owner who's accountable for making that thing happen. All right. So we just talked about creating a plan to take your business from where it is to where you want it to be. We looked at what often holds people back when they're trying to reach their goals. And at the end of the day, if you want to make your plan work, here's what I figured out. You can't do it alone, okay? Because remember who we are? We're entrepreneurs, and so we got a lot of ideas, but we also get distracted, and we run around in circles chasing our own tails, and we chase this idea, and we chase this idea. And hey, who are you accountable to? Like, who's your band of brothers or sisters that if you get a little bit off track, you can go, hey, come back over here. We got to follow the plan. Who is that for you? I've tried to do this. I've tried to do it on my own. I've tried to run a business on my own. I've carried all the weight of the tough decisions. Here's what else happens when we do this alone. Our little demons in our head get really loud. Our fear gets bigger. We get more down on ourselves. Whatever problem we're staring at seems larger and gets more and more insurmountable, and we just start feeling intimidated and wondering if we have what it takes. You know what? You do have what it takes. You need to be reminded that you have what it takes. And you need to be reminded by people that are for you, people that are cheering for you. I know that it can be exhausting to feel like you're carrying all of this. I know that it can be scary to feel like I've got this dream and we want to scale and build this thing, but I'm starting to wonder if it's really going to happen. I just got a message just last week. A lady said, we just lost our biggest customer. And I was basically in tears until I jumped into this workshop with you guys and you were telling me I could do it and I'm not alone and I have what it takes. And it was that jolt that I needed to go, snap out of it, Sally. I have what it takes. Yeah, yesterday sucks. Yesterday was a bad day. We lost our biggest customers, but get back on the horse. Sometimes you need a coach that's pushing you and saying, come on, you can do this. We're here together. Let's go, baby. We're not quitting now. We're not laying down. But you can't do that to yourself except to a certain extent. I can't do that for myself. Our friend Dr. Henry Cloud talks about the power of another person, someone that believes in us, someone that's for us, someone that knows what the flip they're talking about and giving us good advice. Now, I'm so privileged here at Ramsey Solutions. I'm on our operating board and I lead EntreLeadership, this big multi-million-dollar arm of Ramsey Solutions. And every day I feel stuck. Every day I run into a problem and I talk to people on my operating board. They're my sounding board. They help me make decisions. Just this morning we had a board meeting, and coming out of the board meeting, I grabbed one of my fellow peers, my board member and fellow board member. I said, hey, I was thinking about this. I'm feeling a little funky about it. What do you think? And they gave me some incredible advice. And I walked out of that conversation, 15-minute conversation. I felt more encouraged, more equipped, more focused as a leader. I knew what I needed to do. And you know what else? I felt a little bit convicted that I needed to go have a difficult conversation that I'd kind of been procrastinating on. And I knew it was the right thing to do, but there's something about a sounding board of just that affirmation going, yep, okay, this is it. And you know what else? They said they're in it with me. They're going to help me out. And so that gives me the courage, that emboldens me as a leader to lean into that stuff. And here's the thing. You have to have a board. You have to have advisors. You have to be in a group of people who are committed to your success if you really want to go from being on the treadmill to building a peak performing business. That plan that's sitting in front of you right now, here's what makes that canyon, well, that canyon that looks like the Grand Canyon, looks like we might not be able to actually get across it. Here's what makes that canyon look like a little puddle on the ground that a little 3-year-old can jump over in their rain boots. If you want to feel like a little puddle on the ground that you can just go, boom, no problem, we're going to achieve our desired future. Well, you can't do it on your own. You got to be a part of a team. You got to have a coach. You got to have people in your corner cheering for you. And you can have that. You can make your goals happen faster, and you can take your business farther with a solid plan and people around you who get it. People who know what it's really like to lead. Guys, the key to winning a business is not being isolated. But where do you find these people? Where do you find leaders that you can trust? I want you to think right now, who are the leaders in your corner? Who are the 8 to 10 people that you're constantly pinging your ideas off of? They can't be people that work in your organization because you're the owner, you're the leader, you're at the top. You got to have a sounding board outside of, you got to be talking with people in your organization, get advice. But in terms of you growing as a leader and really building this thing, you got to be talking to people who swim outside your fish tank, all right, who have a different perspective. Who are those people? Who are the people that are passionate about you winning and also get business, get how to do it the right way? Who are the people in your corner that have made a lot of successes and they've also made a lot of failures and they're generous with their advice? Who are those people for you? How do you get people in your corner who care about the success of your business and who can help you to work your plan? Well, guys, it can be difficult to find those people. I hope you have some of them. But if you don't, I want you to know that we've got something for you that's going to rock your world. See, we believe so deeply in this idea of a board of advisors that we built a program for advisory groups. We've had this request from business owners for almost 2 decades now. Can you get some people around me that are like me, that love EntreLeadership and love these principles, who also value the 6 drivers? They're not here just to phone it in. They're not here just to get rich. They're here because they have a purpose and it matters, and they're trying to figure out every day how they're going to do that. And guys, we heard the marketplace asking for this, and we launched our EntreLeadership advisory groups, and it has been the most significant thing that we've done that actually causes transformation for business owners. Now, what's an advisory group? Well, very simply, it's a group of 8 to 10 business owners that meet together consistently through virtual video calls to share advice and feedback and provide accountability. Imagine having your own personal board of advisors, people who are like you, successful business people, men and women running multi-million-dollar enterprises, different industries, different team issues, some varieties mixed in there so that you get different perspectives, and people who have opposite strengths from you. You know, we all have deficits. One of the best things about being a part of a board here at Ramsey Solutions is I've got some incredible strengths as a leader, and I've also got some stuff that I really suck at. And so when I can go to other people on my board and say, hey, I need your help, they've got that strength on the thing that I'm terrible at, and man, they can help me out. They can help me solve the problem. And that's what leads to confidence in our decision making. Imagine having your own personal board of advisors like that. They're going to help you make the right call in your business. Imagine the next time that you're running into a major issue with a team member. You've got people that you can talk to and say, hey, here's this team member, here's how long they've been there. I'm paying them this. I'm frustrated with their attitude because of A, B, and C. And I feel like I might need to fire him. I don't know. What do you think? And they can say, yes, you have to. Or, well, what if you tried this path instead? Have you thought about moving them to you can process this stuff. And guys, I know when you're thinking about that stuff on your own, it can just feel like, oh, what's the right decision? And the weight of the wrong decision, especially when it comes to a team member, hiring the wrong person or firing somebody when you shouldn't have, or letting someone stay around too long because you're sanctioning incompetence. And guys, that can cost your bottom line so significantly. And so the ability to make the right decision the first time and not have to go around and clean up our messes from making the wrong decision, because God knows I've done that many times, it is invaluable. And here's the thing, business can be lonely. But when you're in an advisory group, you don't have to figure out everything by yourself. You've got people around you who truly care, and they're invested in your success. Now, our advisory groups are all led by one of our EntreLeadership coaches. These aren't people that are hired guns, okay? These are people that are on the Ramsey Solutions team. They sit in our staff meetings every week. They're part of the EntreLeadership team. They're sitting right upstairs right now. I know all of our coaches. They're all incredible people. They've all been in business, led businesses, and they're going to give you feedback and help hold you accountable to the EntreLeadership plan. So if you're going, man, these 6 drivers and I want to be an EntreLeadership company. I want to be a peak performing company. Not only are they going to help you out with what you need to do, but they're going to encourage you. They're going to cheer for you. They're going to hold you accountable. And they're also going to tell you everything we've learned from working with thousands of business owners just like you through our different advisory groups. Through the years, as business owners have come through the EntreLeadership program, we have figured out and we have mapped what causes a business to win. And I don't care what kind of business you're in. I don't care what industry you're in, whether you're just getting started or whether you're a mega business and you're rocking. I don't care where you're coming from. There are core things that make business work, and our coaches are experts on these things. And so much of it, it's what we've been talking about. It's leadership. They're going to help you develop as a leader so you can build and grow your business. And you go, well, okay, I've never had a coach before. I don't know about coaching. Guys, I've had a coach for years, somebody that I meet with on a monthly basis, and we talk about my leadership. They don't work at Ramsey. They're outside my fish tank, and they push me, man. And they tell me things that are uncomfortable. And they call me up and they say, hey, you're capable of this. And they cheer for me when I'm down, and they remind me of who I am, and they remind me of what it takes. And they're throwing books at me saying, whatever that problem is that you got in front of you right now, I got a great resource for you. And guys, I'm the leader I am today largely because I've submitted myself to the process of being coached. You've got to have a coach. Look, top athletes never go it alone. They've got a coach to push them, to train them, to show them what they can't see. You know, the great NFL coach Tom Landry said that a coach is somebody who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so that you can be who you've always known that you could be. I love that. You need a coach. If your business matters, if you care about the success of your company, if you don't want to leave it up to chance, you've got to have a coach, and you've got to be a part of an advisory group. Now, I think ours are fantastic, but please, 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 please don't leave this to chance. Somewhere, somehow, get plugged in to an advisory group and a coach. This is the key to your success. And our advisory groups are fantastic, and here's how they work, okay? So you're going to connect on a video call for a little over an hour twice a month to work through your strategic plan. We've been working on that a little bit today. I gave you a primer on strategic planning. You're going to dive deep. You're going to have a robust strategic plan that you're operating off of when you're a member of an advisory group. You're going to discuss the challenges and goals and everything that goes on in your business that tracks your progress and how you're applying the EntreLeadership framework. And guys, the transformation is real. I have a friend, Brian, who he started working the EntreLeadership program about 10 years ago. He didn't have anything going for him. Brian called me, said, I'm desperate. I'm on this treadmill. And they were doing some things really well in their business, but they weren't making a profit. They weren't winning. He wanted more, and he's trying to figure out how to get the team on board, trying to figure out how to communicate with his wife. He plugged in, and he worked the EntreLeadership plan. And the plan is you get an advisory group, and you get coaching, and we teach you this content, and then we hold you accountable to doing the work. And Brian, well, he was stuck, but he's done the work. And back in the day, he wasn't making the money he wanted to see. He didn't know how to get off that treadmill. Does that sound familiar to you? If you feel like Brian at times, I want you to know that makes you normal. That's how most business owners feel. If it sounds like you, I want to encourage you that there's hope. There's a better way. Because what happened for Brian is he plugged in and he started getting results. His business is profitable. He's now a multimillionaire. His bottom line is growing and thriving. He's got a leadership team. He's still plugged into his advisory group. He's talking to his coaches all the time, and he's not alone. He's happy every time I see him. He's smiling. He's laughing. He's got life on his terms. His business is winning, and he has that momentum that we've been talking about. So if you want to be like Brian and the thousands of business owners that we've helped, you've got to plug in to an advisory group. You just need a plan to guide you through the process and a community to walk with you on your journey. That's what our advisory groups provide. I want you to enroll in one right now. That's the big announcement. We're opening up enrollment for our advisory groups. It's been closed for several months. And the reason we keep these closed is, well, we just don't want anybody and everybody parachuting into these randomly, okay? We go through painstaking effort to make sure that we get the right people in these groups. We want business owners, typically between 2 and 200 employees. That's typically who's in these groups. If that's not you yet, that's okay. Do some other stuff with this, but advisory groups are for business owners. And we really handpick and make sure that the groups are put together where the chemistry of the group is going to be designed to put you with people that are like you, and the coach and the chemistry of all that is super important. That's why we keep these closed. We don't just open them up and sign up online and then let some kind of robot or AI plop you into a group. Okay, we don't want to leave your success up to a sloppy process like that. So we leave them closed. We open them up a couple times a year. So I'm announcing right now, we're opening enrollment. Okay, also, you're going to go on at least a 6-month journey because transformation doesn't happen in 1 week. I need you to commit to 6 months of your time. Okay, you're going to get quick wins. As soon as you get in your advisory group today, you guys can enroll. I'm going to tell you how to do that here in just a second. But as soon as you get in your advisory group, you're going to have resources, you're going to have action items, you're going to have a lot of stuff. You're going to be feeling like you're winning at a new level starting next week. But you're not going to be transformed as a leader for at least 6 months. Okay, so we expect a minimum of a 6-month commitment for your sake, so you can become that transformed leader. And most business owners stay in their advisory groups for years and years and years because they continue to use it as a lifeline as they scale their business. But because it's a 6-month commitment, again, we keep the enrollment closed and then we open it up a couple times a year. It's like launching the fall semester of a university, okay? So your cohort and your group of peers in your advisory group, you're gonna launch together from the same starting line, all right? So next week, you're not going to be able to get in. That's what I'm driving at. You're going to call and go, hey, can I just get in? No, it's like if you call your university halfway through the semester and go, hey, can I just jump in and catch up? And they're going to say, sorry, you're going to have to get in the next time we open enrollment. Okay, so enrollment is officially open right now. And it's only open this week until Friday night at 8 p.m. Central. Okay, so if you want to get in, this is your moment. Advisory groups, normally, it's $3,900 for 6 months, okay? So what's your success worth to you? If you're running a business with several $100,000 top line, that's just a fraction of your operating capital to guarantee your success and ensure that you're committed to growing with a lifeline of peers in your advisory group and a coach who's gonna get you to the next level. You're gonna get your money's worth. You're gonna get 50 times your money's worth. I'm not worried about your money. What I'm worried about when I'm talking to people about these is, are you gonna commit to showing up? Are you going to commit to your group? Are you the kind of leader that says, hey, I want to be A+. I'm going to be there and I'm in for 6 months and you can count on me. Can you commit the time? That's the challenge. If you can't commit the time, please, please, please don't just throw your money in this thing and say, oh, I'm sure this will fix it. And it's not a magic pill. Guys, you've got to do the work. We've been talking about that. So here's the really cool thing. If you jump in right now, instead of $3,900, our team is going to they're going to take $1,000 off the normal price. And so for only $2,900, you're going to get access to your group. When you sign up, you're going to get over 100 training videos, hours and hours and hours of content of Dave and our personalities and different leaders and speakers on this EntreLeadership stuff on demand for you all the time that you can go through and you can take your team through. You're also going to get our incredible weekly report tool. Guys, we talked about in the people driver, in building a fantastic culture, we talked about the need to keep your finger on the pulse of the team. And so every week here at Ramsey Solutions, we use our weekly report tool. where each team member loads in just a snapshot of what their week was like. And all that rolls up to you as the leader in a digital app, and they put in their high point, their low point. They got a gauge on the morale, kind of how they're feeling. And it's going to give you a dashboard with things flashing at you saying, go check in with this team member. And hey, this team, last week, they had a really rough week. Got to go check in with them and talk to them. And this thing is an amazing tool. It's included as a part of being in an advisory group. Also, you're going to get resources like our profit sharing calculator. If you were with us last week when we talked about profit sharing and the driver of sharing profits with the team, well, there's a formula for how that works. And our profit sharing calculator makes it super easy for you. You just plug in how much profit you're going to share and the team members and how long they've been there and their attitude score. Of course, we talked about all that last week, but you just hit boom, calculate, and it spits out a report that you hand to payroll, and it's automated. Lots of tools that are like that in there that are really cool. I don't have time to cover all of the guys. It goes on and on and on. You're also going to have Ask a Coach chat. Our coaching team, that's your lifeline that we talked about. You can send in a question 24/7, and the next business hour, you're going to get a response from someone on our coach. So you're never alone again. Also, you're going to have weekly live group trainings with our coach that you can get on every week and say, okay, we want to jump in here and do a webinar and interact with the EntreLeadership coaches. That's included as well. And of course, guys, it also includes your advisory group. That's the key. That's the magic sauce to really getting traction to becoming a peak performing business. Guys, our content is designed to meet you where you're at in your business right now. And how you take the next steps on your business is based on us helping you get from where you are to where you want to go. So I want you to join right now and get plugged in to your advisory group. If this is for you, if you've been feeling this whole time like, I wonder if this is why I'm here, that's your little kind of conscious thing talking to you going, this is your thing. This is your moment. This is what you've been looking for. So all you got to do is go to EntreLeadership.com, and you're going to see tons of information about how you can get plugged in and take advantage of this special offer. And remember, it's only open this week. And when you join, you're going to get an email with a link. It's going to give you a brief questionnaire. And so we're going to place you in a group based on your stage of business, your team size and experience. And then we're going to kick off the start of your group. This is pretty fun. On October 7th, we're going to have a virtual happy hour where you're going to get to meet all of the EntreLeadership coaches, break the ice with your group members, and kind of get to know each other. And then you're going to launch and go forward from there. Okay, so I want to tell you about Michelle Martin real quick. Michelle is a friend of EntreLeadership, and she's been plugged in for a little while now in her advisory group. And the other day, she shared this with us. She said, even though everyone in my advisory group is from a different profession and locations around the U.S., there's still so much that we can learn from each other. Having a fresh perspective on business, on these business issues, it's so vital. We care so much about each other. Not just our business, but our personal lives as well. When running a small business, you can feel very lonely sometimes. And my advisory group makes me feel like I have a group of people who have my back whenever I need them. She's plugged in, guys. She's not alone. She's working with the team. And as a result, she's getting results. Checked in with Michelle, and Michelle is absolutely rocking it. She's one of 1,000 examples of business owners I could give you guys who are investing in themselves and their businesses by being a part of an EntreLeadership advisory group. Now, I want to challenge you guys. Invest in yourself. Get people around you who are doing things that are going to help you reach your goals. Okay, get plugged into an advisory group. Now, you probably have more questions about advisory groups, and if you do, you can go ahead and share them in the chat, and we will get to them shortly. But go to EntreLeadership.com and get signed up right now. You can also click a link to talk to one of our advisors if you want to ask a few more questions before you go ahead and lock yourself in. So, real quick, I want to share an awesome bonus for you guys. If you sign up before Tuesday at midnight, okay, so if you're a procrastinator like me, that's Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. This expires, but this is a early incentive for you guys to get in. It's an incentive for you guys to get in early. If you know you're already ready to go and you want to jump in, some of you guys have already been purchasing. I can tell they're chatting and saying, hey, a lot of people are already jumping in on this. Glad you guys are like me and make quick, impulsive decisions. And if you do that, you're going to get a bonus. If you need to wait till Friday, that's fine too. No pressure. Take your time. But if you get in before Tuesday at midnight, you're going to get an exclusive access to our EntreLeadership Master Series live stream. Okay, so that's coming up in just a few weeks. Our Master Series is an annual conference for business owners that goes in depth on the principles of EntreLeadership. It's our playbook for how to run and grow a successful business. And the value of that content is over $500, and we're going to give it to you guys for free, again, when you get in by Tuesday at midnight. So be sure to jump in. If you know, you know. If you need to talk to someone on our team, go ahead and do that. But get all that done and wrapped up and get your seat locked in by Tuesday at midnight to take advantage of that exclusive offer. Guys, the success of your business is worth investing in. I know you've put in a lot of work here on this webinar and the workshop series we did last week, and that's so awesome, okay? But I don't want you to look back in a year from now and be in the same place that you are right now, wishing that you would have actually taken action on what you learned. This is your chance. Get plugged into a group today. Go to EntreLeadership.com and get signed up. And we will join you and walk with you on your journey. And we will be cheering for you and committed to your success. All right. I promised you we would get to some of your questions before we wrapped up. So before we wrap up, I want to jump in and answer any questions you guys have. Here's the list. Whoa, we got a lot of questions. All right, we're going to have to run quick. Jared asks, is it okay if I'm not a business owner but still looking for leadership skills? Jared, we want our advisory groups to be people that are actually running a business or at a very high level in a business. That's who they're designed for. But everything in EntreLeadership is applicable to anybody who cares about leadership. I mean, think about it. Personally growing as a leader, the idea of purpose, walk around the drivers. I mean, they all apply whether you're directly in the seat of an owner or not. And if you ever want to own your own thing someday, these are good muscles to exercise. It's a good question. Patricia asks, are advisory groups going to be more focused on helping us through the stages of business? Absolutely, Patricia. That's exactly what they're going to do. Our whole goal is to get you over 2 to 3 years to advance through all the stages of business, to go from the treadmill operator to the pathfinder to the trailblazer to a peak performing company where you've got momentum. We're going to help you along the stages of hiring the right people, and then you're going to level up. And then you're going to, with your advisory group and with your coach, you're going to level up again, and you're going to level up again. That is exactly what they're designed to do. And we're doing that with thousands of business owners all over the country right now. Nick asks, it seems expensive. How do I know that I'll get my money's worth? Well, Nick, I can tell you, expensive is all about the price we pay relative to the value we get. Okay, so you're the X factor here. You got to show up and do the work. You're the one that has to convert the learning and the coaching into a value that shows up in your profit and your bottom line. But I can tell you from the thousands of business owners we've worked with, 95% of them are getting about 50 to 100 times more value in their business than they are paying for their advisory group. And, the truth is it's about $16 a day. The size of 3 venti drinks at Starbucks down there, and all that does is give you a bunch of caffeine and sugar. This is going to give you real answers. This is going to give you solutions. This is going to be something that you get to interact and be a part of a team. And, so what's your success worth to you? What's it going to take for you to get to the next level? If you've been trying to get to the next level and you've been frustrated and you hadn't had that breakthrough yet, if it's not this, what is it? If it's not today, when is it? You've got to decide. So, what we're committed to at EntreLeadership is delivering massive value. We will never put anything out where the amount of money you give us is not fractional, dismal pennies compared to the massive value that our team wants to unload on you and for your business to help you win. And if you get to a point where you feel like that's not the case, call us and we'll give your money back, all right? We're not in it to lock you into a contract or, do something that you feel like we suck at what we're doing. And hey, we want to be friends. We want you to be happy, all right? So don't let the financial piece of that be an issue for you because you're not going to regret it. All right. Marissa asks, do you have something for solo business owners? Marissa, I'm assuming that by solo, this means you're the only team member, so that maybe you don't have a team that you're leading right now. I'm going to encourage you that if you at least have an established business and you have customers and a product and some revenue flowing in and it's doing pretty decent, to go ahead and jump into an advisory group because I'm going to guess that we're going to help you build a team as you go forward. Now, if you're going, hey, I don't ever want to have a team, that's not my plan. I like being small. I like it just being me. Well, we're not for you. That's okay. You're doing something different. But this is about building a team and being a leader and scaling your business by having a team. Margaret asks, how do I bring my team in on the strategic plan for purpose? Incredible question. And Margaret, I've done this wrong. I've gone off at times and decided what our purpose is and what our vision is and come in and announced it to the team. And most of them have gone, okay, cool, sounds good. And then I turn around and a week later, nobody can remember what it is. Nobody's actually changed their behavior to be consistent with where we're going. And I'm going, well, I thought I told you guys the vision. What's the deal? Here's what I figured out. I made one of the biggest mistakes in that I did not include the team in the process. So clarifying our purpose and vision as the leader, it's so important that we get our team, especially our top leaders and influencers, in the room with us, and we spend a half day and we go, where do we want to be? Where are we going? Now, as the leader of the team, I have a trump card and I have guardrails that I'm going to help us and I'm going to facilitate us towards something that I'm not going to let us go off in a ditch on something that I don't believe in, but I'm going to make sure that our team is doing it together and that they have buy-in, that they help to shape and craft this thing together as a team. And when we do that and we come down from the mountain and into the valley to actually put this stuff to work, well, then they own it. They have emotional skin in the game. So make sure you're doing that with your team. Louis asks, I have an amazing business. I feel a bit foggy about even creating a plan. This is how I felt for a while. How do I get out of the fog and get clear? Well, Louis, I have found that there's a few things that I have to change when I'm feeling foggy. I've got to change my inputs, and I've got to change my environment, and then I've also got to change my habits. All right, so my inputs are, who am I listening to? What am I listening to? What am I reading? Okay, so if you've been a little bit of, we just get stale on, keeping new things flowing into our mind sometimes. If you've been a little bit stale, sometimes that's why we're foggy, because we haven't been listening to inspiring things. We haven't been reading new books. We haven't been talking to new people that push us and make us think. And that's one of the best things your advisory group does. It's fresh ideas. It's fresh thinking. It's people who are motivated on the days you don't feel motivated, and then you get off your call and all of a sudden you feel motivated. Why? You change your inputs. Secondly, change your environment. Get out and go for a drive, go for a run. I went for a run in the neighborhood the other day and I realized, you know what? I run the same route every time. And so I thought, I got to shake this up. And I went on a different route and I saw new things and I felt a different level of energy and enthusiasm about my run. Change the environment, change the landscape, and then change your habits. So if you got the same morning routine where you just kind of get out of bed and go through the motions, shake it up. Add something different to the soup, so it'll taste different in terms of your habits. So inputs, environments, habits, mess with that stuff all the time, and that will help you get out of the fog and tap back into that passion. It's in there. It's in there. You just got to tap into it. Rebecca says, at what point in the business process should we join, in your opinion? Rebecca, the people who do the best in our advisory groups are business owners who have a desire to grow. They have a team, even if it's a small team, a couple people. They're leading people and they're wanting to get to the next level, but at some level they feel a little bit stuck. Okay, so I want you to have an established business with some revenue flowing in and a few customers, and I don't want $3,900 or it's actually $2,900 right now. I don't want that to break the bank where you're like, oh my God, we're gonna put our life savings in this and hope that we can launch a business. This is not a launch a business program, okay? This is for business owners who have a business, they're a little bit stuck, and they wanna explode and get to that next level. That's who it's for. So if that's where you are, go ahead and join today, even if you've only got 2 team members. If you've got 200 team members, you're still going to thrive in an advisory group. We're just going to put you in a group with other companies that are about your size. Okay, so you're going to be paired in cohorts with business owners that are about the same stage of business that you're at. That's why I said it's handpicked, it's very intentional, and that's why we do limited enrollment. But again, the card is open right now. We're ready for you guys, and our team is standing by and ready to get you guys onboarded. What's the weekly time commitment? I'm going to say the monthly time commitment is about 3 to 4 hours a month for your advisory groups. On top of that, there's infinity of commitment of on-demand content and Q&A and chat and all those kinds of things. So that's a little bit more as you go, how much you need, and a little bit self-driven in that regard. But you're going to have to commit at least 4 hours a month to show up and be accountable to your group and to cheer for other business owners that you're going to be walking alongside. So you can't pop in and out of your group each month based on your schedule. You got to prioritize this thing. That's how the groups work. Caleb says, hey, in the midst of COVID, how do I begin to move from keeping the lights on to becoming strategic again? Well, Caleb, good question. I get it. In the midst of COVID, a lot of us kind of went to, survival state. How do we keep the lights on? But here's what I'm going to tell you. The strategic plan is not just for peacetime. It's not just for when everything is going well. Sometimes, even in the whitewater of COVID, regardless of what's going on, all the disruption that happens in the marketplace, it's happening all the time. It's not just COVID. It still is always a great model to say, where are we at right now? where do we want to be, what's the gap, and how do we bridge the gap? I mean, that's a COVID thing. That's a 3 to 5 year strategy during peacetime thing. That's a everything's going good. That's everything's not going good. That model works in every context, every time. Okay, so in COVID, in disrupted times, our timeline is going to be a little shorter. Okay, so instead of saying my desired future 3 to 5 years out from now, we just did this with our operating board back in March when we were experiencing the onslaught of all the COVID issues. We had a 90-day desired future. We said in 90 days from now instead of what previously we were operating off of like a 5-year kind of horizon. So we changed our activities for 90 days, shored everything up, and then now we're back to a year out, and we'll move it out to a couple years out and get back to that more strategic, longer timeline. Nick asks, can you guarantee I'll see improvement in my business? No, Nick, I cannot guarantee that you'll see improvement. But what I can guarantee is the things that you need to succeed when you get into an advisory group will be available for you. The things that every business needs is going to be at your disposal for you to win, but you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to lead. And we are guaranteeing that we're going to be in your corner and you're not going to do it alone. So, guys, we're going to have to wrap up here. We're going to have to let you guys jump off and get locked into your advisory groups. There's going to be a land rush. A lot of people are jumping in this right now. But remember, you're only going to get the one-day Master Series live stream if you sign up before the end of the day on Tuesday. And trust me, you don't want to miss that. So if you already kind of know, go ahead and get locked in right now. EntreLeadership.com is where you get signed up and get more information. And then you're going to hear from our team right away. We're going to get our coaches connecting with you, figure out where your business is at, figure out how to help you guys out, and we're going to get you guys rocking to moving towards your peak performing business. So guys, again, thank you for being here. We love you. We're cheering for you. We want to walk with you. If an advisory group is right for you, go ahead and jump in there. If it's not right for you today, we're still cheering for you. We're still here for you. At EntreLeadership, we exist to help business owners win. That's why I get out of bed every morning. That's why our team gets up every day. It's what focuses us on figuring out how we can come in and lift you up and push you forward. You have what it takes. We believe in you guys. So thanks for being here. We're cheering for you. Get in the advisory group, and we will see you in your advisory group. And until next time, guys, keep learning and keep leading.